Warning, this show may contain facts, fire, and the sound of me making a liberal lawyer cry. Side effects include spontaneous flag waving, low tolerance for bureaucrats, and permanent suspicion of any sentence that starts with "according to CNN." If you're easily triggered by strong opinions or proud state governors, turn back now. For the rest of you, strap in.
Tonight on Data and Dissonance, Texas draws a line in the sand, and D.C. starts crying about fairness. From redistricting chaos to the resurrection of hemp law drama to a federal slapdown of immigration enforcement. Texas ain't backing down. We're digging into the legal warfare, political strategy, and cultural rebellion in real time. Rachel brings the brains, Brian brings the boomstick, and Daniel, well, he might be broadcasting from an undisclosed Whataburger. This is Texas versus the feds. Let's ride. Before we unleash the legal rodeo, let's talk about real patriots. Caleb Rourke. The Covenant Protocol and the Prophet Directive are out now, and trust me, these books slap harder than a Texas courtroom gavel. Book 3, Black Echo Rising, is on its way, and it's got more deep state drama than a Pelosi family Christmas. Search Caleb Rourke on Amazon. Get the truth, get the adrenaline, and get ready. All right, y'all, here we go. In the past week, Texas told the feds, "Not today, Satan." Mid-decade redistricting? Check. Legal war over hemp laws? Double check. Oh, and that spicy little SB 4 immigration law the courts just blocked? Governor Abbott basically said, "Come and take it." It's like every headline came straight from a Constitution cosplay. Rachel, make it make sense, but no Latin legal terms, please. I don't have the Rosetta Stone subscription anymore.
Artie, I'll try to keep the law speak to a dull roar. Let's start with redistricting. Texas is attempting a mid-decade redraw of congressional maps, rare, but not illegal. And in case anyone forgot, Democrats did the same thing in states like Illinois and New York, so spare me the moral outrage. What's different here is the timing and the unapologetic tone. This isn't about subtle strategy, it's a middle finger to DC. But the real battle is SB 4, the law that lets Texas detain illegal immigrants on state charges. A federal judge just blocked it, claiming state law can't override federal immigration authority. Maybe true on paper, but in practice, the feds have been asleep at the wheel for years. Texas isn't usurping federal power, it's filling the vacuum they left behind. And if the courts think they're going to tame Texas with a gavel and a footnote, they haven't met Greg Abbott.
Rachel coming in like a legal howitzer, smart, sharp, and fully loaded with receipts. She just left half of the Ninth Circuit shaking in their Birkenstocks. All right, Brian, bring out the Constitution, the barbecue sauce, and maybe a folding chair if this turns into WWE States' Rights Edition.
Here's the truth, Artie. Texas is doing exactly what the founders hoped we'd all do. Grow a spine and tell the swamp to go pound sand. Redistricting? That's called winning the game the left rigged years ago. The only reason it's controversial now is because the Democrats didn't think Texas would have the guts to play hardball. And SB 4? Let's not sugarcoat it. The Biden administration turned the border into a doormat. Now that Texas wants to stand on its own two boots and handle enforcement, they're getting slapped with lawsuits. The feds are more interested in hemp regulations and gender-neutral signage than securing the southern border. And don't even get me started on hemp laws. DC regulates hemp harder than fentanyl. It's like they want everyone high and distracted while they sell the country off piece by piece. Texas is saying, enough, and the rest of us better pay attention, or we're next.
DC regulates hemp harder than fentanyl. Let that one marinate. And shout out to Brian for casually dropping a truth nuke with a side of ribs. All right, Daniel. Conspiracy corkboard is on deck. Try not to scare the normies too bad, but go ahead and make Rachel regret sitting next to you.
Oh, this week's a gift basket of power plays, Artie. Redistricting? It's not just about district lines. It's about narrative control. Every new conservative stronghold is one less MSNBC correspondent invited to Thanksgiving dinner. But SB 4, that's the real prize. It's the litmus test for federalism in 2025. If Texas gets away with enforcing immigration, other red states will follow. And the media? Silent as a wind farm in winter. The same people who screamed children in cages now can't be bothered to cover the Supreme Court challenge. Why? Because they don't want to admit that Trump's federalist legacy is alive and kicking in Texas. The courts don't just fear chaos, they fear momentum. And this could be the spark. Just remember, when the headlines go quiet, that's when the real moves are happening behind closed doors, with legal memos, shady donors, and enough deep state panic to make the Pentagon stock up on tombs.
When Daniel says soft launch, I assume it's just a dry run before FEMA drops flyers on Amarillo. But hey, at least the black helicopters haven't shown up yet. Let's hit the merch drop before they cut our internet or start taxing memes. All right, Patriots, time to stock up before the alphabet agencies cut our Wi-Fi. Head over to datadissonance.printify.me for the kind of gear that makes your coffee stronger and your hoodie louder. Light roast, dark roast, medium with a citrus twist. It's all there. Plus Gen gear for those of us who were built different, raised right, and still remember what freedom smells like. Let's get loud and look good doing it. This week's Patriot Minute goes out to Boot Campaign, right here in Dallas. Started in 2009 when a group of women strapped combat boots on for a photo campaign. They've grown into a national force dedicated to restoring hope and dignity to veterans healing from trauma. The Health and Wellness Program delivers personalized treatment plans for PTSD, TBI, chronic pain, and insomnia. Because wounds don't always show. Meanwhile, their Seasons of Service initiative sends care packages and support to struggling military families nationwide. What grabs me most? They fight mental health stigma and provide resources quietly, without press releases or celebrity endorsements. No political platform, just boots on the ground, literally and figuratively, helping folks who walked away from battle only to face another battlefield at home. In a world obsessed with optics, Boot Campaign is action. They remind us that patriotism isn't a hashtag. It's hope delivered, pain relieved, and trust rebuilt. To everyone who's laced up for this cause, we see you, we back you, and your service continues beyond the uniform. Thank you. All right, time to land the plane, but not before we take one last pass over this Texas showdown. If tonight taught us anything, it's that when the federal government forgets its job, the states start reminding it who's boss. Rachel, give us the constitutional heart check before Brian starts waving flags and Daniel starts printing bunker maps.
Texas didn't start this fight. It just stopped pretending not to notice. The truth is, the federal government abdicated its role years ago when it came to border enforcement, local autonomy, and real transparency. What Texas is doing now? It's not radical, it's necessary. If the courts want to rule from on high without understanding the realities on the ground, then don't be surprised when the ground pushes back. I know some people get nervous when states assert themselves, but to me, this is what federalism is supposed to look like. Not chaos, accountability. And honestly, I'd rather live in a country where the people still question authority than one where they kneel out of habit.
Rachel dropping wisdom like it's a gavel at the Alamo. All right, Brian, your turn. Paint the flag red, white, and pissed off.
You want to know why this matters? Because every time Texas says no to federal overreach, it reminds the rest of us we don't have to take it either. They're not just protecting a border, they're protecting the idea that power comes from the people, not the other way around. The left wants to cry foul, but they cheered when blue states ignored Trump's immigration laws. Now the shoe's on the other foot, and suddenly it's a constitutional crisis. Spare me. This isn't lawlessness, it's leadership. And if Texas has to drag the rest of the country back to its senses, kicking and screaming, so be it. I've got boots, a belt buckle, and a flight to Austin on standby.
Brian's ready to turn his HOA meeting into a constitutional convention. And Daniel, I assume your take comes with maps, arrows, and a survival checklist?
Oh, absolutely. Look, this isn't just politics, it's strategy. The deep state thrives on complacency. But Texas just hit refresh on the entire game board. This week wasn't about drawing a line in the sand. It was about redrawing the power map. Every federal freakout, every panicked CNN Chiron, every court injunction. That's confirmation they're nervous. And when the machine gets nervous, that's when it slips. Watch for quiet executive orders. Watch for agency memos. They'll try to squeeze Texas with procedural nonsense, but I don't think it'll work. Because once a state remembers it has teeth, the leash doesn't fit so well anymore.
They say everything's bigger in Texas, and this week that included the cojones. From the courts to the Capitol, the Lone Star State just reminded Washington what happens when a state decides enough is enough. But don't get it twisted. This wasn't just about laws. It was about leadership, about sovereignty, about saying what millions of Americans are thinking. We're tired of being ruled by people who don't even remember what they're supposed to serve. So yeah, the gloves are off, the fight is on, and the message is clear. If the feds want a standoff, they better bring more than subpoenas. Remember to speak truth, stir thought, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same fire.